Alright, so let's get into the drawing itself. So I got this little just notepad here. Figure we'll do something more simplistic. I started off with just a little doodle, a little sample for you guys. Did it on both pages. I might just do one for this episode. I'm not sure. We'll see where it goes. So this paper was supposed to not bleed. Obviously it did, but that's to be expected with a Sharpie. So I've got this page right here. And I'm thinking we just flip to really any random page. I'll just fill this out slowly, on and off camera. So let's get started. So for this one, I'm thinking go with just straight Sharpie and see what happens. So what I like about these little notepads is they have lines. And although, as you can tell from my other videos, my other video as of now, I'm not really a fan of things that tell you what you're supposed to do. But I do like having something as, I don't like the word guide, but I guess that's the best way to describe it, a guide for some of these patterns. So as you can see, especially while I'm filling like this triangle in here, for the stripes, I'm going along the lines as to, completely just lost my train of thought there. But I do think that it's nice. It can kind of help you get out of a rut when you're struggling to find what you want to make. You can just follow the lines on the paper. And it's also, I think, the permanent marker plus little notebook is kind of a good show of you don't need good materials to make art. Obviously, this isn't like primo or anything, but I think I still like what I make, and I know that other people do. I think I'll have to get better at some aspects of it, but I really enjoy making art, and I think that that's a big portion of it. And if you love making something, and you're really passionate about it, you can really kind of make others enjoy it too with your own passion. That's how it's worked for me with a lot of things that I enjoy, like biology and psychology and things like that, is I can just talk about them for hours and get people interested. One, I'd say I have a decent talking voice, but it's really just, about making it sound interesting, honestly. And you can do that same thing really with art you can make it good by your own passion. You can make an art piece better when you can recognize its worth. You don't have to say, oh, I'm the shit, I make the best art in the world, but you can recognize that, I'm making something. I deserve a little pat on my back for that. And I don't think, obviously, I'm not saying self-aggrandizing or anything, but it's still worthwhile to treat yourself right, really. I don't think I would be able to make art if I wasn't able to recognize the value of what I make. I think it's just really important to, love your own craft. But as you can see, I'm starting off with just some geometric patterns here, kind of just growing out from the corner. I think what I'll do next is I will outline this area along here. I'm just gonna do a big line along the seam between the two pages. I might go into the other page, you never know what'll happen, but it kind of gives a good guideline, because then you also don't cross over into that other page. But I think in here I will do some more flowing lines. I'll just let this happen, really. But I do want a bit of feedback on what you guys want me to talk about in these videos, because I'm really open to talking about anything. Philosophy, my own art. I can really just say what I'm doing. I'm completely happy doing that. It's more about what the people want than what I want. Because as long as I'm able to, put myself out there, that's kind of the goal of this channel, and especially these videos, is to just like get myself on a platform. Not necessarily for the fame, but I've struggled with anxiety a lot, so it helps to like put yourself out there as practice. Even if you're only getting 15 views on a video like I did last video, like that's still 15 people that you might have not talked to before. And also, I do think, especially now, social media presence is one of the most important things in being successful, especially with art that isn't as, traditional. Because my art really isn't, like, it really doesn't take that much skill, I'll be entirely honest. It's another one of those things where I'm passionate about it, I love my art, and it also kind of just looks cool. But I see some meanings in there that other people don't see, but I still think, like, this broad appeal of it is a good thing. Sorry if I am not really talking about any one thing here. I really am just going stream of consciousness with this episode, letting my brain run wild. Let's see. So I think with this little part here, I'll start off with that line there, and I'll start to curve it a little bit more. Maybe add a little guy in there. I'll go over that way. But it's a philosophy for me. It's about the freedom and the simplicity of it. Like, with this art, part of the reason I think I love it so much is because it's not what art is supposed to be. I'm not saying that there is a, like, dead set definition of art, but there are things that people think are supposed to be art and are not. And this isn't one of the things that's really supposed to be art. It's just me drawing on a notebook with a Sharpie. A lot of people would consider that, like, just random drawings or doodles, but I think it's art because of the passion. And plus, there's some emotion that goes into it for me. Obviously, when you see these lines, you don't see anything, but it's an emotional journey for me. Without this art, I wouldn't be where I am emotionally today, because I have been able to get used to imperfection. And I think I touched on that quite a bit in the last episode as well. It's really been an exercise for me in accepting not being perfect. And also accepting other people's criticism as my own. Because I feel like I used to get mad, not even necessarily mad, but I would get really bummed out when someone said I'm weird, even though I say I'm weird. And I had to get past that differentiation from someone else's judgments from my own. Now I can hear someone tell me that I'm weird, and I go, yeah, that's me. I like weird stuff. And I think that that's really important, to be able to recognize yourself as weird, and not only recognize yourself, but recognize that, like, when other people say that, even as an insult, it can still be a good thing for me. But we're almost done with this page here, and we're not even 10 minutes in. We're just about 10 minutes into the drawing portion of the video, so I think I will... yeah, I will do the other page of this, I think. So let's just fill this in. But yeah, I do want to hear your guys' opinions. Anyone who's watching, really, if I know you in real life or not. on what I should be talking about in this, because I'd be even open to like having another person come over to my house and like drawing and talking to someone. I think that would be kind of I know it's stereotypical, like, oh, I should have a podcast, but I do think that it would be an interesting podcast idea to just draw and talk. And for me, like, that's what these videos really are. It's a conversation with myself more than anything. Obviously, I'm talking to, you guys, people in the computer, but I'm really referring to my own thoughts. Like when I say, oh, I know that that's weird, or, oh, sorry if I'm, going off on a tangent here. And sorry if I'm going off on a tangent here. That's more my own judgments on myself that I'm apologizing for. It's not anyone saying that I'm going out on a tangent. Because I think, obviously, this is more of that self-aggrandization, but I think it's important to recognize that I think I am an interesting person. I think I have a lot of good perspective on life because of how I've decided to live. I've really decided to just be me and not be sorry about it, especially over these last few months. And I think that brings an interesting perspective because a lot of people aren't able to do that. They aren't able to just, like, be themselves without shame. And hearing someone do that, hearing someone just be themselves and not be sorry about it, I think can help others get out of that bubble. I think that's a really important thing for me, and I know it's like, oh, I'm calling myself, such a good guy for helping others, but I think it is a good thing to be weird so other people see it as normal. And if I have to be the one who says, yeah, I'm a good guy for that, then I will be. But as you can see, we got a big section here on this side. And I think I'm going to I have a really fun pattern idea. So let's see. I will draw a line here. And I want to just have these lines that don't end. Just go. Yeah, I like that. And here's another idea. Okay, that is a bit goofy looking, so let's see, I'll section off this portion here. Actually, make that wider, fit the theme there. And continue that pattern. Let's see, what's another good topic to talk about? How about TV? One show that I've been really into lately is BoJack Horseman. Obviously, you'll hear it time and time again, one of the best television shows, probably the best animated television show of all time. But it's also helped me deconstruct some of my own toxic behaviors, especially the, let's see, what do they call it? Romanticizing your own sadness. I do think I did that a lot. And I probably still do. Maybe I don't recognize it as much, but I also think I don't do it nearly as much, where, like, I'm sad and someone wants to help and I go, no, I'm too sad. I think that's a really unhealthy behavior that I definitely did. I was sad, but I was still too proud of myself to, like, say it out loud. Or not even to say it out loud. I was too proud of myself to let others in to help. I was definitely not too proud of myself to say it out loud, because I would have a bad day, and the first thing I think is, let's post this to like my Snapchat story for the attention, but then not respond to anyone and not be open about it. Even if that's not obviously consciously what I was thinking, that's what I was doing. And that's not a healthy behavior. And I'm not trying to call you a bad person if someone else has done that before, but like, don't. Really, that's about it. And obviously, it can be a trauma response. It can be caused by actual diagnosed mental illness. So maybe you can't just not do that, but then maybe look into options for help. And I'm sorry for anyone who is going through problems and is unable to access therapy and other things like that, but maybe this can be that help for someone. That's kind of what I'm hoping for and what I'm talking about when I say I hope someone can be weird because of this and not be, sad about themselves. Really, any toxic behavior like that, I want to leave it all out and let people know, like, I was not and probably still am not a very good person, but I can change. Everyone can change. And a big part of it is recognizing that and being able to say, okay, I wasn't and I'm still not a great person, but I can be a better person. If not for others, for myself. That's another big hurdle that I had to get over, is I didn't want to be changing for others. I wanted to do something for myself, because what had caused a lot of my problems was I was trying to make others want me. I wasn't working on just wanting myself. But I think I've gotten better at that. I've definitely been able to look at myself in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm happy with the person I am. It's taken a lot of work, but I really am. I think I am at my best that I've ever been in life. Thanks to a lot that I've done, and especially a lot that others have done for me. My therapist, great lady, she's really helped a lot. My friends, even some of the toxic ones, especially some of the toxic ones, have been able to help me recognize those toxic behaviors in myself. So shout out toxic friends who I was able to recognize my own toxic behaviors by distancing myself from you. And I think anyone who hears this and is one of those toxic friends will know that I'm talking about them. That's not an insult, though. I don't think that you're a bad person if you're toxic. I think you're hurt. Toxicity doesn't come from a place, well, in most cases for me, it doesn't come from a place, well, for me and for those toxic friends, of wanting to hurt others. It's really just, the saying, hurt people hurt people. These people in my life didn't have anywhere else to run and did the same shit that I did. They hurt others because they were hurt. And I want them to see, not out of spite, I want them to see that I'm getting better, so then they can get better too. But as we finish up, I'll give a few final words here. Thank you for listening to my stream of consciousness. Probably call this something about philosophy. But that was some doodling in a composite book. That's what it's called. And I hope that you guys made it to the end of this. I hope anyone who heard this and was able to relate to some of the more negative things that I've said during this episode has gone out with a bit more perspective on those things. I don't want you to feel bad, but I want you to recognize those behaviors in yourself, as I have too. So, wow, that was really deep talk, but I think this episode will definitely be better than the last. Thanks anyone who watched any part of this video. I hate to be that guy, but if you really enjoyed it, like, subscribe. Even if you don't want to do that, just tune in for the next one. And I'm out. Good night, y'all.